On this day, the 27th of December 1918, the Greater Poland Uprising began in Posen, Germany. Posen has a Polish name, Poznan, I think that's how to pronounce it. And it began on this day after a patriotic speech given by the future Polish Prime Minister, Ignacy Paderewski. And again, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Many of the volunteers that joined this uprising were veterans of the First World War, of the Great War that had just finished. This was the beginning of the rebirth of Poland. The uprising came at an opportune time for the rebels. Germany had signed the armistice about a month earlier, or over a month earlier. Germany was in chaos. The government in Berlin was trying to put down the German Revolution at this time. There had been mutinies in the army and the navy. The Emperor, Wilhelm, had abdicated on the 9th of November. There was really nothing keeping Germany together. So they could rise up knowing that Germany would be completely distracted and have very little strength to smash them. Also, the Allies had campaigned and promised that Poland would be reborn. One of Wilson's 14 points specifically talked about Poland. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that he was trying to get support of Poles in the United States. So, Poland was about to become a country again. And for many people in Germany, trying to fight this whilst also trying to appeal to the West and say, well, don't take all our land away. It was a difficult dance that they were doing at that point. They couldn't be too hard on the rebels, but they didn't want to lose very much land either. And obviously, Wilson's foolish 14 points included specific promises that Poland would get access to the sea, which only meant one thing: division of German territory. And they were going to have a powerful country to the east of them. The effects of this uprising were widespread and long-lasting. Immediately, this led to Poland getting more land than it probably would have if there hadn't been this uprising. If the Poles in Germany had been quite happy just to sit back and be a part of Germany, Poland probably wouldn't have got that much. They would have obviously got Congress Poland in Russia, and they would have had the Austrian part of Poland, but they probably wouldn't have got Poznan or the link to the sea. This uprising continued up until the signing of the Versailles Treaty. The Versailles Treaty did draw a new border along the west of Poland, taking quite a bit of German territory away, and the uprising only stopped once people had signed the Treaty of Versailles. For Germany, this was not a good thing for them. Many Germans felt humiliated. They felt that Poland had stolen territory from them, or that it had been allowed to be stolen because of the Allies. There were many millions of Germans now living in Poland, some of whom didn't like the fact that they were now the underclass, whereas before they had been part of the greater whole of Germany. Some cities were 30, 40, almost half German. This would cause resentment, it would cause persecution, and it would aid the Nazis in their propaganda just before their invasion of Poland in 1939. East Prussia was separated from the rest of Germany. The railway lines connecting Königsberg to Berlin were cut. Danzig became a free city, so not a part of Germany as well, even though it was a majority German city. And Poland was going to have oversight over the city, over the governance of the city. So this caused much resentment and bitterness in Germany, and helped the Nazis get into power. When you look at the maps of the parts of Germany that voted most heavily for the Nazi Party, you'll see it was East Prussia, Silesia, Pomerania, areas east of Berlin, really, the strongest support for the Nazi Party. And I would imagine many of them had some resentment regarding what happened when Poland was resurrected. So, on this day, the 27th of December 1918, the Greater Poland Uprising begins in the German and soon-to-be Polish city of Posen. If you like these videos, come back for more tomorrow. Like, comment, subscribe.